when you're preparing for 2023, New Year resolution, you're not waiting for the year to come before you start any change you want to. And me on my own, I've started already. I've started my New Year resolution, what I plan to do in 2023. I've already kickstarted everything so that everything will just fall into place when we get to 2023 by the grace of God. It's going to be strictly about your relationship with God. How much do you know about God? Yes, so you'll be shocked to hear that kind of question. So many of us will be Christians for years rather, not years. Now, whenever we want to write our New Year resolution, you know what we do now? We always write what we want God to do for us. But for me, for one, I've never asked God anything. I always talk about how I will better my life. I look at it when somebody said, some people say, I asked God to give me husband and whatever. I don't know. I don't really know how to ask about that. But I always look at a way to make me to be a better Christian, help me to love you more. Those things in me that you feel that is not okay, remove it. Help me to overcome this challenge. It has been like that. But then God is actually giving me new things without me asking him. So I want to use this forum. That is a new year. If there is anything I will be discussing in 2023, it's about us getting closer to God. As in having you having to hear from God by yourself. You having a personal relationship with God. You know how this thing goes, just like a husband and wife. That is how we are to God. God wants to hear from us every day. God wants to feel what we are feeling. He wants us to tell him everything. That is what God wants us to do. God didn't want us to go and tell our pastor. Our pastor will not come back and tell him. I am not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. But I'm saying that this is exactly what God wants. And he said you will no longer tell anybody to know me. He said everybody will know me from the greatest to the least of them. He said I will be their father and I will be their father, they will be my children. I will be their God, they will be my servants. That is what God says. So that means God is more interested in you telling him about everything in your life, having a personal relationship with him asking you, you telling him where you want to go, and then he's directing you on what to do or where to go. Not that, we have this habit of when you want to do something, you will have done it before you tell God. How many people are doing that? You will have even made mistakes, especially when the thing didn't turn out well. You will now come back and say, oh God, why? No, he didn't even want us to make mistakes. He wants us to grow. So I am on this journey on how to help us to grow. You grow, you are able to stand because you don't know where God is taking you to tomorrow. So when God prepare you, when God grow you, prepare you, you can take any stone. Remember the tree that is planted beside the rivers of water. There are some trees, the root is shallow. There are other trees that the root is very deep. So when water comes, those ones that are very shallow, when the flood comes, the breeze blow, they'll just blow them off. Those ones that the root is deep, you'll see that they will bend, they will come up, you will turn them, and at the end they will stand. That is what we'll be working on this year, 2023, by the grace of God. We want to start. It's all about knowing God for who he is, for what he wants you to do, and how he wants you to do it. Watch out for Selected Field Ministry. Selected Field Ministry